Hey, we're back, Coon Prairie Ramblers. Here we are. We're going to, you know what time it is?
It's time. We're lucky we survived those last two segments.
Man.
We're going to move on now to
We're
the
gonna have a shootout
F-bomb. Yeah, a shootout. We shoot from the lip, instead of from the hip.
Sometimes from the hip, WFL.
But we mainly shoot from the lip.
Well, I hope I'm the part of the Earp family.
I heard that. Well, anyway, it is that time for the F-bomb, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all take cover, get under your desk like you were trained to in school back in the day. And
back in the 60s.
That's right. Get down and tuck yourself all into a little ball, and the bomb's falling. Here she comes right now.
Look out, Ethel.
Have mercy, have mercy. We have Father's Day approaching, and by the time you hear this, it may be Father's Day or whatever, right around that time you get to listen to this. And so why not do a what if about Father's Day? If you could go back and, not necessarily relive a day with your father or whatever. I mean, if you could go back and do something different in your relationship with your father or undo something, do you think you have anything that you might want to, a change you might want to make?
Maybe all those ties and underwear I wouldn't have given.
You wouldn't have given ties and underwear?
A little bit more memorable, a little more thought out gifts.
Well,
did you inherit them after he passed?
That'll teach you.
No.
You don't inherit nobody's underwear now.
No, how about the ties?
I wouldn't even want the ties, but I wouldn't want the underwear.
I did not, but I do think that there were probably a lot of times that you didn't, or I didn't, give a lot of thought to giving gifts at that time. I mean, you just went, yeah, you always need a shirt. We get a shirt.
What do you get him? Give him some aftershave. My dad always wore Old Spice, so I'd get him Old Spice or things like that.
And speaking of Old Spice, and those scents bring such emotions and memories.
Take you right back.
And the one for me and my father is Vitalis.
Vitalis.
When I smell Vitalis,
takes you back, don't it?
I can see my father.
Wow.
He would use that. He didn't wear his hair slicked down, but he always combed his hair. And
that controlled it.
He was the opposite of me in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was always clean shaven, always dressed properly, and he never run around in shorts or T-shirts. And he's always shaved, clean shaven every morning, and his hair every day.
I never saw it messed up. I never saw your dad's hair
and he
messed
put that Vitalis on there, and I can just sit there and see him right now. And that smell, I mean,
takes you right back.
Oh yeah, if somebody walked up with him with Vitalis on, I'd think, Daddy.
My sister carries around a little bottle of Old Spice in her purse. When she starts thinking about him, she'll just pull it out and have a little whiff, and boom, there he is. He's right there with her.
Could they still make Vitalis, I wonder?
I don't know.
You remember Vitalis?
Yes. And
it was a liquid.
Alberto VO5 and Brill Cream and
Little Dab will do you.
Little Dab will do you. And Butch Wax and all those good old products from back in the day. I think one of the coolest things I ever bought for my dad, probably the coolest thing, I thought I scored that time, went down to W.T. Grant's in Punta Gorda and bought, I don't even know if they make them anymore. Maybe it was a fad that came with, it's a little old bitty round canister looking thing you plugged into the wall, and it would spit out a hot shaving cream.
Oh,
it was a dispenser. You hit the button, and it came out nice and hot. You could put it on and shave. My dad loved that thing. He built a little shelf for it as soon as he got it for Christmas, boy. And he installed a plug. There was no plug. They put in a plug and a shelf. Had it right by the sink and the mirror. And I think he really enjoyed that. So I scored that time.
Did he put in a GFI?
No, this is way before that. No, way before that. So I think I scored that time.
Well, Dad was a mug with soap.
That was early days.
And I did buy him one of those one time.
When I was a kid, I bought my dad that. He'd do that every time.
He was one of these ones that would put hot water on his face, warm it up, and then he'd use hot water on the brush to lather up.
That's right.
And then he'd be running hot water to rinse off his razor.
That's right. That's the way to do it right.
And he was a stickler. I mean, every morning he had to have that shave.
Always shave, even on the weekends.
Yeah. And I'm the opposite.
Wow.
I don't want to shave.
I don't know if I've ever seen you clean shaven. Have I?
Probably.
It's probably about as close as you've seen.
Yeah.
I went the opposite direction to him. I used to shave every day of my life. When you're law enforcement, usually you
Yeah.
had to shave.
Yeah.
I didn't always have to, but and you had to keep your hair a certain
Right.
length. Well, I
Yeah.
still keep it pretty short, but it kind of rebelled against that. Like, I'm not going to shave anymore, and I hate to shave.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. I hate
I just shaved my neck and
Yeah.
a little bit of trimming or whatever. But
I shave
Yeah.
up to my eyes usually, but
yeah, you're thick bearded.
Yeah.
Both of y'all are. I'm not, but
Well, my dad, I didn't have my, I only had my dad from age of 5 to age of 10, and then he left. And he was gone. You know, when I was 5, my half brother came to me and said, "Hey, Mel, your dad's coming." Who's my dad? I got a dad? I got a dad?
who's your daddy?
I got a dad.
What's your name? Who's your
Man.
daddy? Is he
So anyway,
rich? Is rich
he
like
came.
me?
It was the same way with his sister. My sister was gone the first few years of my life, and when she came, my brother came to, "Hey, Mel, Jean's coming back." "Who's Jean?" "That's your sister." "I got a sister?"
You just had like surprise guests
Yeah.
popping up at the house all the time. And me, your
So,
family.
Anyway, so my dad was gone from when I was at 10. He was gone, and then I didn't see him again until he was, till I was 25 or 24. And it was the last year of his life because he came back a year before he died and wanted to make things up. And then he died. He died in a house fire.
Wow.
But if I had a day I could relive or bring back, and it's kind of gross in a way.
Oh, boy.
Well, there was this park we went to, and it's the only time I ever remember ever really having fun with my dad. And it was 5 years.
Okay.
Because he was a drunkard and he worked hard, and it was just
Worked hard and
life
partied
was
harder.
serious, And but we went to Rising Park in Lancaster, Ohio, and there was this like a merry-go-round. It's something you held on to with your hands and you swung around.
Right.
So you had to hold yourself up, with your arms, and it was sort of a merry, and the centrifugal force got that
Sling you
thing
off.
going so fast, and he was hollering like Tarzan.
Oh, boy. That's quite the memory.
And then he slung off. The centrifugal force slung him off the thing, and he went rolling down the hill, and he messed his knee up. And his
Ouch.
knee was messed up the rest of his life.
Oh, my goodness. He took one for the team.
Yeah.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
like I thought, that was one day we actually had fun.
Your flying dad.
And then he messed his leg up even worse because the day I ran away from home was the day that the John Deere tractor, rolled over on him. And it must have
See, Mel waited for all that, so he knew his daddy couldn't catch
Yeah.
him. He takes him to the park so his daddy will hurt his leg. Then he rolls the tractor over on him. Then he makes his
Time to
getaway.
go. Time to
That's
go.
right. I got a book to write. I'm out of here.
Well, had I known that tractor was going to roll over on him, I wouldn't have ran away because I was expecting a whipping by the time, when he come home.
Yeah.
And so
wouldn't have
he couldn't have whipped me. I could have whipped him maybe.
I heard that. You had him running in circles.
Well, do you have anything that triggers strong memories
Precious memories.
besides the smell of
food
alcohol?
or-
Alcohol, yeah, port,
Cheap whiskey.
Thunderbird, that
Thunderbird. What's the word? Thunderbird.
yeah.
Songs. I hear a particular
Okay,
song
sweet,
that
you
takes me back.
just said sweet, precious memories.
Precious memories.
At his funeral, the ladies sang, and evidently at the end of his life, he got it straightened out.
Good for him.
He got into church and got saved. And I remember, and the preacher of the church, gave the eulogy at his funeral, and he said, talked about the big turnaround in Bud's life, and the ladies sang "Precious Memories." And the thing was, I was sitting there, and I heard the choir. I couldn't figure out where they were coming. There was no balcony. I'm thinking, where are they at?
Where were they?
He heard angels
They
sing.
were in back of us somewhere.
Oh.
Sound system.
But I didn't
The
want. I
CD.
didn't want to make
It wasn't
too
canned
awkward.
music, was it?
It was an 8-track playing
it
in the
was-
background.
No, it wasn't canned because you could tell it
Church
was,
lady voices.
Yeah, cracking voices and stuff.
Heard Crackling Rosie singing.
Yeah, but they sang "Precious Memories" and
Wow. Songs will bring you back. My father liked to play the harmonica around the house, and his favorite song was "Wildwood Flower," and he played that on the harmonica. So every time I hear that,
Oh, wow.
it brings him right
Yeah.
back.
You know what I saw on Facebook? You get some pretty good ideas off Facebook sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
These people showed how you can take like an old button-up T-shirt and they make a pillow out of it. And I thought, wow, what a
And there's a little
great-
poem that goes with that. That's
What a great way
tugs at your.
to memorialize somebody that you loved is having their shirt made into a little throw pillow.
Especially if it's something they wore and say they passed around,
exactly.
and it hadn't been washed. And it still got their smell
right,
on it.
And you can relate that to them so strongly.
That's right.
Something like that.
And if the smell goes away, you could put a little bit of their cologne on it.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a good thing right there. Have something like that. I wish I'd have paid more attention to my dad. He's telling all these stories. I'm like, yeah.
Get on with it.
That's right. And I'd give anything to go back and hear him again. I'd pay more attention and write him down and ask him some more questions, what I would do.
We used to go on a lot of Sunday afternoon rides.
That's old school there, old fashioned.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Sunday afternoons.
A Sunday drive.
We went to church Sunday mornings, all of us. Went home. Mom had a sumptuous, wonderful home-cooked meal ready.
Oh, wow.
And later on in the afternoon, we all went for a ride somewhere. It wasn't like to Busch Gardens or anything, but
The
we
back
went for
roads.
a back roads country ride.
And think of all the changes you've seen in
And
the countryside.
After we went for a little ways, we stopped somewhere at a store. And at that store, we were told we all got a treat, 3 of us. I guess they got them too, but they told my sisters, my 2 sisters, myself, you can either have an ice cream or a Coke. And by Coke, I mean pop, soda, waters, whatever y'all want to call it.
That's right. Coca-Cola.
Coke to me was everything.
That's Sprite.
I drank, and that,
Knee-high
all I
or
drank was
whatever
Dr.
you want.
Peppers
It's a
when I was a
Coke.
kid. And, but they were Cokes. And so it'd say, you can have a Coke or you can have an ice cream. Well, every time I wanted to have, and I wouldn't learn from this, before we got back to the house, I was dying of thirst.
You should have brought you a jar of water with you. A little mason jar with a lid on it. You could have had a snort of water.
Nobody carried water, and nobody walked around with water. And so I just had to have that ice cream, so I had to suffer
That
through.
was the day before people walked around with water.
Yeah.
Bottled water. Why did we think of that? Why did we invent bottled
Selling
water?
bottled water in there.
I'm telling you, that's unreal. Well, boys and girls, sons and daughters, if your father's still alive, give him a call or go visit him. Tell him you love him and
Hug
tell him
him
Happy
neck.
Father's Day and share some precious memories and tell him to tell all you about your family history and write all that stuff down because one day he'll be gone. But,
Yep.
And if you ain't got a father, remember him fondly. And we'll see y'all next week.
And what is the
What's the frequency, Kenneth?
1480 FLN on your radio dial. News Radio.